We spend our days thinking about and pursuing that sweet vice grip instead of focusing on what is truly important in life. And with all due respect to women, they are not important and should never be something men spend their lives pursuing in any way, shape, or form, because women are liabilities that bring or yield nothing of value. In most cases, they are designed to take from men rather than give back. So men, put that wet vice grip you love so much into proper perspective and realize that if you want to become someone of value in this life before the Grim Reaper comes for your ass, you can't spend your life wearing up in women just to be placed on child support. That is not something you should strive for, and it will not benefit you in any way, especially with today's modern women. Above all else, you should prioritize getting that money. After that, you can concentrate on your purpose, and women should come last. Most men start out poor, with no one to help them get on their feet. This is usually because your single mother detested your father more than she adored you, or you came from a large family where your parents struggled to make ends meet. That is the story of the average person you see when you walk outside. I know there are many different circumstances, such as the death of a parent or both of your parents drowning in debt, but those are the two most common scenarios around the world. Now, unless your job path is your purpose, you can't afford to think about purpose when you are dirt poor and have nothing to your name. The average broken ninja prioritizes women before looking for a low-wage job to support himself, and the man then expects the woman to meet him halfway and build with him. That is a recipe for disaster right away. If that's what you're doing or planning to do, my friend, you need to rearrange your priorities. When you're working on yourself, the last thing on your mind should be a woman. The correct path to take is to ignore most women and go into monk mode for as long as it takes to build up to a level of stability, at which point you can start looking for the cheapest piece of tail feather available. What is the most cost-effective type of relationship, you may wonder? Well, one of the cheapest would be a friends with benefits situation in which you barely have to give the woman anything without committing. Another option is to find a sugar mama and let her look after you. This would work in your favor instead of you taking care of her, because you rarely have to give the woman anything, but relationships like that are few and far between. As a result, you can't afford to use that strategy on a regular basis. The final strategy is to pay for play with inexpensive women only when you need to break that nut, and not as a habit. Remember that the goal is to accumulate wealth, so it would be counterproductive to spend a large chunk of money that you should be putting towards your future on women. But I know some of you can't imagine going years without taking a break. So, paying to play is your next best option. I believe that until you are stable, you should ignore all women and beat your meat to relieve tension. I know some guys recommend no FAP and seed retention, but if you can't, then whack off once in a while and don't overdo it. And if you can avoid watching porn, that's even better. I know you don't want to hear it, but I'm giving you options for realistically overcoming addiction without relapsing and chasing women. Not every man is capable of doing what other YouTubers recommend. I know I couldn't go 10 months in a row without beating my meat, but if you can, go for it. The next step in your development should be to pursue a higher-paying job, start a side hustle like you do while working, or learn a skill that will allow you to fully support yourself. It is difficult to give when you have nothing to offer and are barely scraping by. A few people have chosen purpose over survival, and it has worked out. Don't be stupid and struggle unnecessarily, unless your purpose is in the field you want to work in and you have the resources or means to achieve your goal. If not, and you still need to eat and live, go for survival. And then your purpose, which is, in my opinion, the safest and most logical way to achieve your life goals. In today's society, you can still get oxygen from the unproductive and lazy. And since you have money, just pay for what the woman has to offer and keep it moving while you're pursuing your purpose. Don't commit to cohabiting or marrying. Instead, live the free agent lifestyle and ignore all the women who claim to want you. They only want your resources, so tell them you don't want to pay to play. The final step will be to secure the bag for your retirement. If you had followed all of my advice, you should have been investing your money in savings for the rest of your life. So having a small nest egg will be achievable for nearly all of you who didn't have a personal woman, had children, got divorced, and so on. So just make sure you have all of your chips in order so that you can retire comfortably and only pay to smash out the within you. They'll come to you at this point, and you'll realize they weren't worth to begin with. You'll realize that chasing women was a waste of time. And if you just built yourself up from the start, you'd get the women anyway, because the women will come to you after you get the money and power. So instead of chasing or pursuing them, ignore them and focus on what's important, which is you.